What's good, y'all? What's good, Real Talk Squad? This is Miles, and you're listening to Real Talk with Miles Johnson, where you know we always keep it real. Let's get straight into it, man. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. Show it a friend and show it a friend. And let's get into this episode. All right, so the Eagles, they had a shameful performance, a disgraceful performance, a pitiful performance. And I couldn't even watch the game for real. I'm happy I couldn't. But look, I was at church all day. I'm glad I was, so I couldn't see this debacle of a performance y'all had. And I had to go ahead and watch it the next day in full totality, because honestly, that would have got me more upset on the Lord's Day. On the Lord's Day, on Sunday, you're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be cheerful. But I'm looking at my phone during church, and I just keep getting mad. I keep getting sad. I keep getting very, very angry. And I'm sorry for all the fans that they were the ones who flew to Tampa to see this debacle of a football team get thrashed 33-16. This Eagles defense be having Baker Mayfield look like Tom Brady on the Bucks. Baker licks his chops when he's up against an Eagles defense. He is. And it's like, it's not just Mike Evans going off. Now, yes, he cooks C.J. Gardner-Johnson. We're going to talk about that. But it's Chris Godwin, who was playing spectacular. K.I.N., Sterling Shepard going off. Former Giant, Rashad White. Trey Palmer got busy. I mean, he flat out went stupid. 347 passing yards. He snapped. All right, so let's talk about this offense real quick. And I'm on limited time, but I wanted to get this out to y'all today. Jalen Hurts has to play better. I would be a hypocrite if I would call Jalen Hurts an elite quarterback, a top 5 quarterback, and then give him excuses that we don't give excuses to for elite quarterbacks. What do I mean? When Brock Purdy doesn't have Deebo Samuel or Christian McCaffrey, and he's throwing to Jawan Jennings, and he's still being extremely effective, you got to look at that and be like, all right, he's not just a system quarterback. He is a phenomenal quarterback. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Brock Purdy is one of them ones. Matthew Stafford, he's been without Cooper Kupp. He's been without Puka Nacua. He's had a beat-up offensive line. No excuses. He has still gotten some points on the board. You feel what I'm saying? I know they lost against the Bears, but at least they're doing something on offense, right? You talk about Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I know that the Ravens, beat them pretty bad, but it's like you have a guy in Josh Allen, doesn't have Stephon Diggs anymore. He's throwing to a rookie in Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid. I mean, it's not like these are real number 1 wide receiver talents. They're not. Or it's not even a top 5 tight end. Like, he's not having to deal with much, but he is still making do with what he has. So I go back to Jalen Hurts. It's pretty wild to me that Jalen Hurts just looks at Dallas Goedert when throwing the ball. It's not sustainable, bro. And he does this when A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are in the game. But they're just so talented that sometimes you can just throw to them and you can live with it. But he has to be able to see the whole field. In the first play of the game on offense, you go ahead, roll right. You have a wide open Saquon Barkley. You don't hit. It's those little moments when you're on the road that make the difference, and is why you're paid the big bucks to be able to overcome things when they're not going your way. There's going to be games where AJ's out, where Devontae's out, whether an offensive lineman's out, maybe a tight end is out, and you are paid the big bucks to be the reason the Eagles win. He was not a reason why, obviously they lost badly, but, he was part of the problem. He's not the only problem. But again, it's hypocritical to call Jalen Hurts an elite quarterback and not hold him to elite standards. Stop acting like this guy is God, bro, and he can't do nothing wrong. I do believe that he has been a victim of bad coaching in certain instances because Nick Sirianni is a terrible coach. Kellen Moore is an overrated coach as well. But at the end of the day, this is a man who's getting paid over $250 million to produce, and he has not produced this season. Jalen Hurts has had elite moments. He's had elite moments, but he hasn't had an elite game from start to finish. His best game was against the Falcons. Now, I don't blame him for that interception at the end, but obviously, I mean, if you have a kicker who can kick, 50-plus yard field goals, 60-yard field goals in clutch time, it's probably not the best decision to go ahead and chuck a ball to Smitty in double coverage. I don't know. I know you got hit, but that's some stuff that you got to pay attention to. And turning over the ball. I mean, this turning over the ball mess is really becoming an issue. It was a little bit cute because we got over it and we still won some games because of it. But if you're talking about 9 straight games with a turnover, if you're talking about the Eagles that are -6 in the turnover battle, I mean, like, you got to look at it and be like, Jalen Hurts has to play better, dog. He does. And it's not anybody switching up. It's saying, look, the man is paid the big bucks to do what? Play elite football. He's not playing elite football. It's that simple. I look at these passing numbers. I look at them. I see Dallas Goedert, 7 receptions, 62 yards. All right. Expected that. I see Saquon Barkley, 2 receptions, 32 yards. Expected that. The next person. Grant. Cal Quintera. 26 receptions. Shout out Paris Campbell. He got himself a touchdown. Cool story for bro. I don't believe Jahan Dotson is that bad. I don't. I simply don't believe he's that bad. So it's 2 things. It's either Kellen Moore can't put up an offensive scheme to get guys open that aren't ultra talented like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, or it's on Jalen Hurts for not seeing the whole field and going through his progressions quickly. It's one of those 2 or it's both. I would say it's both. You have a whole week. You know you're going to be without Smitty. You really know you're going to be without A.J. Brown. But you still decide to go ahead and only throw the ball to Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley when the Bucs know what you're going to do. That's sad. Johnny Wilson. I said Johnny Wilson was going to have a breakout game. He got 0 freaking receptions. That's on coaching. That's on quarterback play. I'm sorry. But, like, should Jack Stoll get a reception over Johnny Wilson? I'm sorry. No, bro. They didn't have a... It's just sad, bro. Lost turnover battle. Shout out Fred Johnson for recovering Hurts' second fumble. We're at a point where literally Brandon Graham is our best pass rusher, bro. Brandon Graham is the Eagles' best pass rusher. He's 36 years old. You have to trade for Hassan Reddick. Please do that, bro. Please do that. All right. I want to quickly talk about this defense. They just don't. This defense is. I think against the Saints, it was an aberration. It was an aberration against the Saints. I don't believe this defense will play that great. Bryce Huff is a bust. There's a reason why I was so adamant about how costly this move could be to trade Hassan Reddick and sign Bryce Huff. And if Bryce Huff and Nolan Smith aren't that good, that is a huge blemish on Howie Roseman's resume. Now, maybe I went overboard and said that he should be fired. But if it's anybody else besides Howie Roseman, I think that's a fireable offense. Now, he's not going to get fired because it's Howie Roseman and his relationship with Jeffrey Lurie. But that move to trade away Hassan Reddick and sign Bryce Huff and draft Nolan Smith, and both guys have been bust at this certain point, yes, that should be a fireable offense because now you have set this defense back multiple years unless you have to make it up and get an elite pass rusher because let's be honest, you cannot depend on a 36-year-old to be your best pass rusher. So yeah, this team, I mean, the bye week is coming at a great time for sure. But I'm looking at Nick Sirianni, I'm looking at Kellen Moore, I'm looking at Vic Fangio. Y'all not getting it done, bro. Kellen Moore is so overrated, and I don't know if he is even better than Brian Johnson was last year. The clear advantage Kellen Moore has over Brian Johnson is he has Saquon freaking Barkley. And so a lot of the time, Saquon Barkley can just mask the real issues that the Eagles have. The fact that they really don't have a consistent passing game. Kellen Moore isn't allowing Hurts to see the field. I know Hurts has it in him when he had an elite coach with him. And what I would do to have Shane Steichen back, man, bro, I would. Oh my gosh, ultimately that's what it is. But I gotta go real quick. I'm gonna have another episode tomorrow on Tuesday. But sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna talk about everything Eagles this week with this bye week, and we're gonna go ahead and dissect what the birds do. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. Love y'all. Peace.